Hey guys, today's Friday, March the 10th of 2023, and I want to go over the energies and metal sector. So without any further delay, let's get into it. Guys, big day, unemployment data coming out. It's gonna rock and roll the market. So be careful, be cautious, place your stops, or just be vigilant because it's gonna get a little crazy today. So let's start off with our energy. As you can see, I'm using weekly and daily just to get the bigger picture because it's the end of the week. And you can see that crude has just been just going sideways. Just sideways over here. Let's get this marker going on. Sideways price action. Not trending, not just sideways and not selling off. You can see there's a squeeze place setting up here. Looks like the pressure wants to go up for some reason, but it's squeeze place here on the daily. It looks like now it wants to go down. So it's just undecided. Your range is pretty much 82.66 and 72.25. RBob gave us a head fake. Thought it was going to be a breakout and pulled back in. It's in a range also. Right here between 281 and 202. You see there's a squeeze play. And what's interesting is that it triggered to go long. Squeeze play was pressuring. I'm sorry, the divergence was starting, but the squeeze play started right here around January the 2nd and gave your green light to go long right here. But price action is just still, I mean, you could probably put a trend line there, and if it pulls that and it shoots up, that's not a bad play. But it's range bound as of now, and the daily has a sell signal, and it's just kind of stuck here, undecided what it's going to do. But there's a trend line right there, and it's kind of below it. Natural gas, 268 was the number, and we are below it. We're at 251. What's interesting about natural gas, is that you got a PPS buy signal on the weekly, and sellers came and pounced and pushed it lower. But with the PPS strategy, you wait for the buy signal to come, the pullback, and that's where you get in. But it's risky because, it's 268 right here. You're below it. But according to the creator of the PPS, that's how he uses the signal. Get a PPS, get a pullback, you buy, and I guess place your stop. I don't know where you want to place your stop. That's up to you. But it shouldn't take out. It shouldn't go like this, and push lower unless. But it's supposed to be lining up with the PPS, I guess, in my understanding, and then prices. But this is the weekly chart. The daily already has a sell signal, and it's just kind of hovering right here, which is at the point of control. So it's not undecided. I use different things to kind of see where the bulls and bears are at. And 268 was the line in the sand, but it's still at somewhere around point of control. Pretty much inside, this range here that we were last time in February. So let's see how that's going to play out. Heating oil, you can just see is making lower highs and lower lows. It gets a little trade bound here, range bound, sorry, and then it kind of does a lower step. So it's still weak as of now. You can see the daily has a squeeze play set up, and now the trigger is to the downside on heating oil. So we'll see how that. Let's go to the metals real quick and see what we got there. Getting a little drink of my water with a little apple cider vinegar in there to keep me healthy for this season. Let's see. So we got gold. Gold range bound 2. 1977. Not, yeah, you could say. 19. I mean, it had a nice little pop, and then it pulled back, but it's been 3 inside weekly candles. So it hasn't decided what it wants to do once it got that nice pop and PPS sell. As you can see, sometimes the PPS gives it to you, and it kinds of retraced, but it doesn't go as high as NG did. So it's one of those things you just gotta figure out your entry point, but it tells you the direction now. It's now down on the weekly, and on the daily, same thing. But now in the daily, we're range bound here between 1864 and 1811. But with today's data, you never know what's gonna happen now. Look at this. This is probably yep, my bad. So this is silver, weaker compared to the gold. At least gold is holding for the last 3 weeks. Silver is just getting weaker. Now at 20, you can see that the sell off is a little stronger. Pointing down, there was a squeeze play here, and then here it triggered to go short, and you can see that this one played out well. No squeeze play here yet, so that's a little weak. Copper 407, 408 is the line in the sand, and you can see that we have been having a couple of weeks where it's just not moving. It's just I feel like there's something happening where there's people building a position, and once they're set or just consolidating, it's going to explode or continue going sideways or down. And you have to, look at the cycles and everything else to kind of get some clues and seasonality. But this one is going to be interesting. We haven't gotten a squeeze play here yet on the weekly, but on the daily, you can see that it started already on February the 27th. It's in a squeeze plate. And this one is indicating that it looks like it wants to go down so far on the daily. But we'll see. You can see that it's range bound here. 417 all the way to 393. It's undecided where it wants to go the last couple of days since February the 27th. Yeah, that's when the squeeze play started. So it's going to explode. Those are the key levels you want to watch. Once it breaks out from there, maybe that's the direction it wants to go. But so far, the weekly candle has changed trend. Now it's on the weaker side. Arrows broke out, are done. So now be cautious if you're long, because now it's showing a little more weakness. And platinum, yeah, it's weak. It pulled back, got this pop, came back down, and now when you look at the daily, this is the range 983 all the way to 901, and you're building up a squeeze play since March the 8th. It looks like it wants to explode higher so far, but price action hasn't shown that yet. But at least you got the range already set. So now you got to see where is it going to go. Is it going to break out to the upside or to the downside or continue going sideways? And let's go to platinum. Not platinum, palladium. This one is still weak. Like no interest. The bulls have not been showing up on this one. And if you look at the range, it's like piercing, trying to stay above this 1352 and just still kind of just weak. Cycles are not working on this instrument, so I'm a little perplexed on it, but I'll continue to monitor it. You got to use other things to kind of determine, what's going on with this. Look at the bigger cycles and bigger pictures, but so far, this one has not been playing well in regards to cycle. I got to look at seasonality, but the cycles haven't been working on this one. I think that's it for here. Maybe I just want to show one more thing, the dollar, because it's going to be an interesting play today. Look at this right here. So we got this nice little pop. Let's open this up a little more. We got this nice little pop here. And over here, there's a 45-degree angle that's coming down. And if you've been watching my videos, can't draw that well. You get the picture. There's a 45-degree angle coming down on a scale chart, and that's the line in the sand in regards to geometry. I gotta look at other stuff, but so far, that's where I'm gonna say, okay, now the dollar's gonna start getting stronger. But now it's stalled. But with today's news event, I like to see if it gets a nice little bull kicker candle. And if that happens, then the dollar's probably gonna go higher, and it's gonna retest that high, or intend to retest that high. But if it doesn't, and for whatever reason the dollar goes down, the 45 degrees holding it, and also according to what I've been seeing, this is a wave 3. My understanding is that this is a wave 4, and we're going to work on a wave 5 down. That means that maybe gold and some of the metals and whatever's inverse the dollar is going to go up. Now if the dollar goes up, then this is probably wasn't a wave 3. Maybe it's more like an ABC pattern, and the correction is done and it's going to go higher. So keep an eye on the dollar, because that's going to give you clues. But in regards, where we're at in regards to geometry and the Elliott wave. All right, let's close this. I wanted to show you some key levels for NG, because I know there's a lot of NG traders. 237, that's the monthly midpoint. Hopefully we don't get down there, but that's that big support. And you're below the VWAP on the daily, and the this is the weekly VWAP, and then this is the daily monthly. Actually, no, this is the monthly VWAP, weekly VWAP, and price action is below it. 268 from an anchored from here, and if you look at volume, you can see that you're at the point of control on the weekly, which is smack in the middle around 258, and you're a little below it, but it's just oscillating now in the middle of here, where you're more on the weaker side. So we'll see how that's going to play out. If you look at the daily, you can see right here, we're just below it. So one thing to consider also is that, Gann said if there's going to be a turning point and everything is, lining up according to the calculations you have made, this is the place you would want to enter, because chances are it's going to correct and then do a wave 3. But we don't know yet. But I'm assuming that there's a turn, because I've looked at some cycles, and I even used the daily chart, going back all the way, the max data I have, and a lot of cycles already are looking like this on the daily. So seasonality wise, March is a low, and then April is a positive month, and then it kind of gets weak. So I'm trying to play this more like a swing trade, into April, and then, trail my stop, and then once it kicks me out, you get out. But those are the kind of things I was looking at last night. That's what the daily is showing, and then the weekly, it's a little more bottoming out further out. So I don't know if this is where it's going to try to pull back, maybe do a double bottom and then go up, or maybe from here it's starting already to get a head start. So by the time we get to the weekly cycle, which is somewhere around here, it's already starting the momentum up. So just the little things just to keep an eye out for natural gas. I'm going to sign out. Hopefully I'm not making this video too long, but I just wanted to do a little pre-US market open. And maybe I'll do a recap this weekend, and then I'll look at some other instruments. If there's nothing going on some of these instruments I'm looking at, I'm not going to cover it in depth, because it's just pretty much stagnant like crude. It's just been going sideways, so I'm not going to be looking at that. But other things that I kind of see where, cycles and everything else is kind of lining up, and there's a trade or a probability trade there, I'll look into it and maybe elaborate on it a little more. Well, good trading. Be safe out there. It's going to get insane, crazy volatility. Be cautious and trade well.